we're continuing the conversation with Zach Reinhardt from CG Boost, and this is CG Talks, the podcast where CG guys talk about CG. And this time, I'd like to get a bit personal, but professional at the same time. Let's talk about how to make a living from following your passion. I'm sure that that's a question that many of our listeners are asking themselves or trying to find a way to do that. And I was quite moved by one of your videos when you announced leaving freelance work to focus on family and CG Boost. And this must have been a tough decision to make, but looking at the results, it seems it was the right one. So did you always want to be an entrepreneur, run your own business, or were other careers in your mind when you were younger?
Sorry. Well, I think it just came to me over time. So I didn't plan my career up front and what I wanted to do. So like when I was done with school, then I basically followed a little bit my brother's direction. He was going into the film direction. So, at that point I knew that 3D is my thing. So I started working in an advertisement agency, and I wanted to bring in 3D there because, of course, product renderings and Photoshop work and stuff like this can be enhanced with 3D. So my brother and I were working there for, 1.5 years or something like this. And it was going okay-ish, but it was not like a big addition for the advertising company. So we decided to split and basically create our own company. And then we just continued similar work as we have done inside the advertisement agency. And in the first months, it was good to have this connection because they were giving us work and jobs to do. And so we could build up our portfolio. And then with word of mouth, basically one client was telling another one, here, they do good work. And then we slowly grew our customer base. And I think it is pretty good to start a more classic way into the whole business, because first of all, you learn to work with clients, you learn how to price your projects and stuff like this. And of course, you get better as an artist and you understand what the clients wants. So either going with an employment in any sort of company that gives you the opportunity to work with 3D. Doesn't have to be a game studio or animation studio, because sometimes you have even more creative freedom if you work in an industry which is not really related to 3D, like advertisement. So when I was working in this agency, I just had like completely freedom on what I create. Of course, there were like some guidelines for what the client wants, but you decide how you approach it, what tools you use, and so on and so forth. So it's not you have to use Maya or 3ds Max or Cinema 4D or something like this, which was pretty good at that time because I just could work with Blender. And I was building up my knowledge, and then we went over to this own company, which is kind of freelancing more or less. And so there I was confident that I can work with clients and that my projects and quality is good enough. So this gave me, let's say, a good foundation in my knowledge and also in terms of income. And then I basically had the time to also experiment with tutorials and the courses and so on. So I would really recommend to go this road, not just let's fully jump into freelancing or product creation. You can build knowledge and a foundation and then test different other things if it's working for you. And if you see selling digital products is working for you, then you can decide to go down with the freelance work and spend more time on these other projects. Of course, if you are young, I know some people which started like in school already with creating digital products. If you have the free time, if you don't need to earn money to pay your bills, then of course jump into YouTube, jump into products, digital products, and try things out. I know, for example, the guy from Graswald, who's like selling an add-on and asset libraries with like grass and like nature stuff. He was starting it when he was at school, and now he runs a pretty successful business, which is nice to see. So, of course, there are many different ways on how to get into this world, let's say.
Yeah. So, like seeing this from the perspective of a young man entering the whole thing, I wanted to ask you, how did your parents think? What did your parents think about your steps when you were pursuing a 3D artist career? You said you had an older brother, so maybe it was easier for you. But this is not a serious job in many parents' mind, I guess.
Mm. No, I think my parents were quite supportive, and I think they are not like this typical, you have to do a good job, like where you can get a good earnings. No, they never were in my way, let's say. They always were supportive, and they basically trust me that I find my way and go into the right direction. So this was all good from my perspective.
Yeah, great. And that's like doing the thing that you love, like following your passion is like a dream for many people. But sometimes at work, as you mentioned, the client work and generally at work, you sometimes have to do stuff that you hate doing, or at least don't enjoy doing. So what is your way of dealing with that kind of stuff when it comes?
Yeah, of course. Like my work involves not only creating the tutorials, which is of course also involves steps which are not super fun, like recording everything, preparing the projects. That's fun. But then going into the editing tool and cut out all the ums and ahs and coughs and stuff like this is of course time consuming and not always super fun. And then on the management side, of course, you have to plan your projects. You have to do customer support, emails, financing, and all this stuff. So I think I would say I'm a pretty organized person, and I tried many different ways on organizing myself throughout the years. And right now I have a system where I basically block out certain areas or certain time frames during the day for certain projects. And usually I start around 1 hour on doing management stuff, finances, emails, and so on and so forth. But it's only limited to a certain amount of time. So it's more like doing a little every day instead of like harming yourself, like letting everything lie around for a couple of days and then just do it throughout an entire day. So I try to do finances a little, like 15 minutes a day, doing emails, half an hour to 45 minutes a day, and management stuff. And then I try to focus on only one project per day. So because it always takes time to get into a project, and I try to like work for a couple of hours only on one project, make a break, like a lunch break, and then continue on the same project. And then the next day I might work on a different project. But since I'm always working on bigger projects, like courses, which are like huge undertakings, it's usually that I have like 2 to 3 big projects I'm working on at the same time. And then I like split them up onto different days during the week. And sometimes, of course, when I have a week vacation, then there is more work to do afterwards, and I have to spend a few more hours on the management side. But on the other hand, when you get a little bit more successful and finances in your business, you can, of course, hire a team which can help you with the stuff which you don't like doing or which you just don't have the time doing anymore. Because when the business grows, you get more clients and customers asking for stuff. So I have like people helping me with emails and answering questions in the courses. I have one guy which is helping me with editing my videos. I still do a lot of editing myself, but he is doing like the first cleanup pass, which saves me a lot of time. And yeah, these two things already help a lot. People that help you with the management side and also the more tedious task, which takes time. And in my mindset, it is like these people help me to free up my time a little bit so I can focus on the stuff which is really my main business or my main task to do, like recording the tutorials and working on the courses. So because at some point it nearly got this worse that I was just spending all my time on management and doing all this stuff and couldn't find the time to record the courses and tutorials. So yeah, it was really about time at this moment to get a team. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but it was also a natural thing. It was not like, now I need a team and I was looking for some people. There was just someone in my community which was pretty active and so on. And I just think, oh, maybe I should just ask her to help me out. And yeah, she was super happy to join CG Boost. And then like step by step, it grows over time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it seems like great because some people, when they think about starting their own company or doing business or like going to the next level with their work, it's sometimes they fear that they might stop being able to do what you love when they kind of like level up. And that sometimes happens with businesses, I guess, especially when you kind of are forced to do rather the business side of things, not the part that you love, but you seem to have found this balance between rather like outsourcing these tasks that you don't find yourself like the best at or loving them, but rather leaving a space for you to do what you do best, right? And trust other people to do.
I mean, I still need to do some stuff, but I have to say that I also enjoy managing this stuff from time to time, finding good workflows and good ways on like having a clean day, let's say, a clean structure. And it is really dangerous because when you are the only one in your business, you think you are the one that can do everything the best. And you don't want to give the task away because someone else maybe mess things up. But what I realized, like, there are many really talented and good people. And if you just show them, you can record a quick video and stuff like this, show them how certain tasks work, and just start slowly by giving away little things where you feel confident that other people can manage this. And then you see, okay, how the other person works, and you start to trust them. And then step by step, you give them more important tasks and more important decision they can make on their own. And this really feels totally nice. It's so great to go on vacation. I remember back in the day, it was like this. I go on vacation and was always thinking, oh, damn it. A lot of questions come in, a lot of emails, and you're somehow always thinking about your business, and you don't want to like not answer people in a week or so, which then can hurt your business, and people might leave bad reviews that they don't get the support and stuff like this. And I was just like checking the emails all the time, and I couldn't really enjoy the vacation. And now after I have the team, I basically tell them, okay, I will be away for 1 week. I will be responding to team questions if they have anything, of course. And also checking the emails from time to time if something super important pops up. But like in my last vacation, I haven't replied to a single email, which was really good. And I just checked the emails. I was seeing that my team was answering basically all the important stuff. And I could really enjoy my vacations, which is like super nice.
Yeah, it seems great. It's like the thing that you probably hoped for when you made the decision to shift, from freelancing work to be able to focus on what you are most passionate about.
Of course, like when you get started, It's it's not that you, of course, you see maybe some people that are successful already and you think, oh, they have this, all these nice features on their website, all these great products and so on. But you have to start small somewhere. So better start with a simpler version of what you imagine. Like keep it simple, a simple website, some tool that helps you to sell your products, like Gumroad, for example, and get the ball rolling. And then over time, when you realize, okay, there's the budget and the time to improve, then you will step by step improve over time. And this just comes naturally. So you don't have to have the perfect version of your business right from the start. Start small, start simple, get things out there, even if your courses are not perfect when you are in the course business space. Just put them out there, make them as good as you can at that point, but don't try to make them perfect, because then you will never publish your products if you really try. I'm not quite happy with it. Put it out there and then improve over time. So I'm still working on my courses, which I put out in 2017. I still iterate on them and improve them, so they are staying fresh. And when I improve a course, it's basically that I recreate the course from scratch because I have more knowledge, I have better understanding how to structure a course and so on. But it worked back in the day when I first published the course, and yeah, now works when I improve it. So
yeah, I totally
from the
relate.
business side, there is no difference because the business grows with your personal growth.
Yeah, exactly. I really relate to that. That thing about not like you have to struggle to get things as good as you can, but almost always with a 3D project or any project, just after you kind of say it's done, and it's an important moment for me to call this done. Okay, this is as much as I expected from that. I call it done. I like it, and just a minute after that, I can see already all the flaws, and I think sometimes it seems like it's bad because you haven't done as good as it might be, but it's always like the next project can be better. And the thing that you see the flaws is actually a positive thing, because you already see the places where you can grow. So it seems like you already learned something, you just want more.
Yeah, of
That's good
course.
to
Yeah.
keep up the appetite for the next step.
Yeah, funnily, like most of my artworks, which I actually finished, were artworks for CG competitions or ArtStation competitions and so on. And like what you can see on my wall here, if you're on the video, these are all projects I made for competitions, funnily. And I can totally see all the flaws in these images. But since in the challenges you have a deadline, you have to finish something to a certain date, you just try to make it as good as you can till the deadline appears. And then it's done. Then you have to live with what you have. And I never really approved or improved my artworks after the challenge is done. Of course, you could iterate more on it, but for me, it was done. The challenge is over. This is what I have. And this is also the reason why I believe that CG challenges are a great tool to learn and improve. And this is why I started these CG challenges in the first place, because I wanted to give people like an opportunity to jump in, have fun, have a deadline, a nice topic, maybe win some cool prizes if they win this challenge, but mainly to work on your skills and just create something and see how you improve over time. Yeah.
Yeah, and one last question maybe in this topic block, we talked about making a living from doing what you love, but what you love really is also kind of evolving through the journey. So you said you started from VFX shots, then you consider yourself a 3D generalist, so probably all of the areas were covered in some part. Like from what I've seen from your works, I would consider you to have a slight shift maybe towards being a sculptor or a character artist. Oh, So that seems from my perspective as like you're most interested in that. But I wonder how have your interest in CGI changed over time, and what is the thing that you'd like to do that you maybe haven't yet tried in that world 3D.
So, I mean, the question is, does my interest changed? I mean, of course, over time, besides 3D, I learned that like teaching, I'm pretty good at teaching what people tell me. And I also enjoy the teaching part a lot. So basically, over time, I learned that teaching is also, besides 3D, one thing I really enjoy doing. And of course, combining these two subjects is like the perfect match for me. But I wouldn't consider myself as a character artist and so on. It's again more the storytelling part, which is what I like doing. And this I can also express in creating some creatures and so on. So when I create a course, I usually think about, of course, what's an interesting subject for the audience, but how can I also include my desire to tell little stories? So, and then I try to create an example project file or project scene for this course, which is also in my range of interest, let's say. So creating a flying car or creating an interesting looking creature is, for me, a nice way to do art, to do storytelling, to create little animations and short films, but to also make a living with this. So yeah, the question is, I guess if I didn't have to earn money, so if just everything gets paid for a magical reason and I don't have to earn money, I still would do tutorials, I guess. But then, of course, everything for free on YouTube. And I would still do 3D animations and short films and so on, I guess. So, and since I have to earn money to pay my bills, this is, I think, the best combination for me personally to have. Like, I make these courses to earn money, and this gives me the freedom to work on 3D projects for the courses again. So it's a symbiosis somehow.
Yeah, it seems to work. Yeah, I think the CG Boost
And
already boosts itself.
yeah. And to your question, what I would like to do, what I haven't done. On the one hand, I always thought about maybe doing a children's book at some point, because I also like to draw sometimes. But on the other hand, I also think about like a more modern way on doing this, maybe in terms of creating like actual short films which are not connected to any course, just for the fun of making a short film or telling a little story. And I have this Cubic Worlds course where I create these low poly animations, and just to promote the course, but also to follow my desire on like telling little stories, I create these little animations which are not part of the course, but I use the techniques I teach in the course to create this animation. So I can show people, okay, when you follow this course, you can create animations like this. It's not the specific same scene and animation which I teach in the course, but the workflows are the same. And this is then like the first step for me in this direction on like also creating something which is a little bit detached from the courses.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, that's like a nice way of creating, a framework for yourself as a creator. And yeah, I'm just curious about what's coming out next from your creative workshop.